the basics. So you're gonna stay in preschool for like 8 weeks. Then we jump to elementary school. Then we upgrade to middle school. Then we go to high school, then university and graduation. By the time you graduate, you will have all the basics you need to succeed, right? This is a legit course. This is a legit class that a lot of gurus would have charged you thousands of dollars for not even the same type of information, for inferior information, right? So make sure you're paying attention. No Lambos will be shown here, right? No made up inspirational stories, just pure knowledge acquired through experience and pain. I'm here to share my trading and investor journey with you so that you can benefit from it, right? I don't want to make it about me. I want to make sure that I'm teaching you, I'm giving you transformational information, something that you can actually utilize and see a difference in your life. This is the calendar. Make sure you're liking and sharing this shit, right? Let YouTube know that we are here changing lives. You know what I mean? You're here for free and shit. Plus, you might get blessed and get sats. So it's a win-win for you. You get sats, you get information, and you can use that information to change your life, right? So 1,300 days, right? What does this mean? We have about 1,300 days to the top, right? And if you know how to use this information, this is life-changing information. I'm not going to stress too much on that. 223 days left, approximately 223 days left to get to the bottom, right? Again, if you know what you're doing, if you pay attention, in 223 days, you will have a life-changing opportunity, right? 30 days. If you are interested, all right, let me do this. I will be opening my Discord, right? I will be opening up my community. Now, my community is not free, all right? Hold on, let me do something. Let me pin this. My community ain't free. One second. All right. So, 30 days. If you want to be on the waiting list, if you want to tap into the community where the real shit happens, right? So you don't have to wait every week and be a peasant on the outside. If you want to tap in, that's the link. You got 3 days to try out for free. 3 days free, right? And in order to be on the wait list, you pay $15 for 3 months. Now, this is what I'm going to tell you. If you have no intentions or if you have no money, okay? If you have no intention or no money to tap in, don't waste your time. Don't join, don't put in your card information. Don't do the free trial. You'll be wasting your time. And I'll just be taking that $15 from you. So this is only for people who have the intention of signing up. People who got the means to pay in 30 days when the enrollment opens. Are you getting me? We on the same page? Yes? No? Maybe so. Are we clear? Don't waste your time. If you ain't got the money, don't waste your time if you can't afford it. Because you just be giving me free money. All right? This is only for people who got the means and the intention. All right? $750 days. This is 750 days until the next Bitcoin halving, right? Next Bitcoin halving is likely to be in April of 2028. So this is a countdown to the halving. You know what happens when Bitcoin halves? Approximately a year after the price goes insane. So you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right? On this day, March 21st, 2011, Plato's Bitcoin road trip. Bitcoin Talk Forum user Plato reported the first travel using only Bitcoin for all expenses. Mind you, Bitcoin was only like 2 years old at this time, right? So this is, you know, if you look back, right, you go back to 2011. This man said, I have 200 Bitcoin of my own to start out with. I'll start driving as soon as it's apparent that the trip is possible through your contribution. I'd like to leave soon, hopefully in April. My biggest concern is gasoline. My car gets about 250 miles to the tank. So I'll need to find people spread out along the route. So the route I end up taking. Are you in the US and willing to sell me gasoline for Bitcoin? Please drop a red pin at your location on my road trip map to help me plan my route, right? Now look at this. 200 Bitcoin to start, right? 2011. 200 Bitcoin times $70,000, right? This is 14 million. Okay, that 200 Bitcoin that he had to start the strip back in 2011, that same 200 Bitcoin is now worth $14 million. The question is, did he keep the Bitcoin? Did he use all the Bitcoin? Did he hodl Bitcoin, right? So it's one thing to be early, but it's another thing to be early and understand Bitcoin enough to have the vision to hold Bitcoin long term. There's a lot of people who were early in Bitcoin and did not hold Bitcoin. They did not save in Bitcoin. They just use Bitcoin as any other currency, right? Every week, I'm gonna show you this because this is the plan. Do you have money? Yes. If you have money, if you have cash, buy Bitcoin. Do you have money? No. Why? Maybe you don't have a job. Well, go get a job. And once you get a job, you study Bitcoin, then you buy Bitcoin, right? Do you have money? No. Or not for Bitcoin. Well, that means you don't understand Bitcoin. So if you got money and you say, yeah, I got money, but not for Bitcoin, it means you are Bitcoin illiterate. And if you're Bitcoin illiterate, the only way you can save yourself is you go study Bitcoin. That's what's going to give you the conviction to buy Bitcoin. Are you with me? Type 21 if you're following so far. Type 21 if you're following so far. Type 21 if you're following so far. Tonight, I'm gonna try and get done by like 9:30. All right? All right, let's keep it going. Only two things are truly limited in life. Don't ever forget that. We got Bitcoin and we got time, right? Bitcoin, the difference is with Bitcoin, we know exactly when the last Bitcoin is going to be mined. With you, you don't know the last time you're going to breathe your last breath, right? These are both limited assets, limited things, right? And the clock is ticking to the end. So for your life, your clock is ticking. You are living to die, right? And Bitcoin, they are getting mined until the last, no more Bitcoin can be mined. One day, there'll be no more breath left in you. One day, there'll be no more Bitcoin to mine. So there's a lot of similarities, but your life, your breath is more important. And with your life and your breath, you don't know when the last breath is going to be exhaled or inhaled or exhaled, right? You don't know that. We know in the year 2140, the last Bitcoin will be mined. So these two things matter the most. Focus on them. Make sure you stacking sats and you living a quality life, an intentional life. You feel me? Bitcoin, not crypto. So I don't want to hear nothing about Ethereum and Dogecoin and XRP and all of that shit, right? We ain't doing that here. It's not the type of show. Bitcoin is not crypto. Bitcoin is money. Bitcoin is a protocol. Bitcoin is here to do bigger things, right? So do not disrespect it by comparing it to these shit coins. All right? Bird Box. My job here is to open your goddamn eyes, right? Tell you the things that you typically would not hear, right? Educate you, teach you how to trade, how to learn how to extract cash from the traditional financial system and use that cash to stack sats, right? HODL, like I said, what is HODL? The act of clenching your Bitcoin tightly in times of uncertainty. We are in one of those times, right? No matter how wild the market swings. Often practiced by those with strong hands, unwavering conviction, and occasional panic, right? You have to be a hodler, right? When Bitcoin dipped to 30K, I huddled through the storm. When Bitcoin dipped to 65K, I huddled, right? Diamond hands to the moon, right? So real Bitcoiners, we are not afraid of the volatility. When Bitcoin dips, that is when you are supposed to buy more, right? The first known exchange rate for Bitcoin was in October 2009. With $1, you could have bought 1309 Bitcoin. Do you know how much 1309 Bitcoin is worth today? Somebody do the math for me real quick. Multiply 1,309 by 70,000 and tell me what it is in the chat. 1,309 by 70,000. What is it in the chat? Type in the chat. In 09, October, $1 could have purchased you 1,300. That is $91 million, $91.6 million, right? It wasn't until February 2011 that the price of Bitcoin reached parity with the US dollar. I remember this day. I was there. I was a Bitcoiner back then, right? When Bitcoin, the day Bitcoin reached parity with the US dollar, I was there. It wasn't like I heard it after the fact. I celebrated that day, right? I remember I was driving and I was listening to NPR. That's a news channel. And NPR announced it. They were like, Bitcoin just hit, it was 2011. Bitcoin just hit parity with the US dollar. It was such a big deal, right? It was an achievement at that time. The same way last week when the 20th million Bitcoin was mined, and everybody was like, oh, the 20th million Bitcoin has been mined, right? It was the same thing back then. So I'm telling you this to tell you that I've been early. It wasn't this, like when I'm talking about Bitcoin, I'm not talking about Bitcoin from the lens of I read it after the fact. I was present, I was involved, I was interested in it. I was talking about it then, but I didn't buy as much, right? Because even though I was following it, I didn't really understand money the way I understand money now. In order for you to hodl Bitcoin, save Bitcoin long term, you have to understand what money actually is, right? So as confidence in Bitcoin grew, so did the demand for the cryptocurrency, which increased the price. In 2013, Bitcoin went from $13 to $1,157, a gain of 8,800%, right? So from 2011, let's say you had $3,000, $3,000 would have bought you, when in February of 2011, $3,000 would have purchased you 3,000 Bitcoins, right? And 3 years later, or 2 years later, in 2013, that $3,000 at 1,157 would have been $3 million. 3,000 would have turned into $3 million back then, right? Back then. February of 2010, Bitcoin was $1. March of 2013, Bitcoin was $100. In November of 2013, Bitcoin was $1,000. November of 2017, Bitcoin was $10,000. December of 2024, Bitcoin hit $100,000. What do you see? What stands out to you on the screen? Every so often, right? About approximately 5 to 6 years, right? Let's say 5 to 6 years, Bitcoin adds another zero to itself. I want you to pay attention to this information, right? We went from a 1-digit Bitcoin, right? 2011. Then I think 2011, 1-digit Bitcoin. I think around 2011 or 2012, we hit $10 for the first time, right? So we got a 2-digit Bitcoin. Then in 2013, we hit a 3-digit Bitcoin. That's a $100 Bitcoin. In 2013, we hit a $1,000 Bitcoin for the first time, right? And I remember this too. I just moved to Florida. It popped. It went to 1,200 or so, and it dipped back to like 100 and something, right? 4 years later, Bitcoin added a zero to itself, 2017. Then 6 years later, or 7 years later, Bitcoin added another zero. So let's say the time that is taken for Bitcoin to add a zero to itself is increasing, right? It's not decreasing, it's increasing. So we went 2 years, then a few months, then 4 years, then 7 years. Let's say we take 10 years this time from 2024 to 2034, right? So we're in 2026. So 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, which means approximately 8 years from now, Bitcoin can hit $1 million, right? If we follow this math, you get what I'm saying? So we are not expecting the time to decrease because the asset is becoming more mainstream, right? It's becoming more expensive. So it looks like the time, the bigger the number gets, the longer it takes for it to add the zeros. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Type 21 if you picking up what I'm putting down. Type 21 if you picking up what I'm putting down. This here by itself is life-changing information, right? Because this is math. So, and another thing you have to realize is when it went to $1, it went down. It retraced. When it went to $100, it went down. It went down to like $15 or $20, or I think $5, right? When it hit $1,000, it went down to like 100 and something. I think even 60 something dollars. When it hit 10,000, it eventually came down, right? It went to 20,000 and went back down to 3K. It hit 100K, then we went to 126. Then a few weeks ago, it touched 59, right? So just because it hit these numbers doesn't mean it's gonna stay there. It hit the numbers, then it goes, then it retraces, and then the next time that number becomes the floor, right? So one thing you have to realize is you will never see a $1 Bitcoin ever again, right? That is promised, that is given. It will never happen again. You would never see $100 Bitcoin ever again, right? That floor has been raised so high that $100 Bitcoin will never happen again. You will never see $1,000 Bitcoin ever again, right? That floor has been raised so high that you will never see it again. At some point, that $1,000 Bitcoin price was the high. That was the highest point, right? Now, you cannot even get it as your low. Then in 2017, Bitcoin hit 10K. That was the high. Now, you're not going to get Bitcoin at 10K ever again. In 2025, we hit 125, 126K Bitcoin. Bitcoin dipped, right? And it will probably dip some more. But there'll be a time in the future where you will never get 100,000 Bitcoin ever again, right? Bitcoin may go to $1 million and then drop down to 600K or 555K. You will wish you got 100K Bitcoin, but it will never happen, right? It will be similar to wishing for a 10K Bitcoin. It will be similar to wishing for $1,000 Bitcoin. It will be similar to wishing for $100 Bitcoin and a $1 Bitcoin. Type 21 if you pick it up what I'm putting down. You with me? All right, let's keep it going. Bitcoin is decentralized, right? What does that even mean? Decentralization is the exact opposite of centralization, right? With decentralization, there's not one single entity in charge. So it's not like the banks where you have somebody controlling. There's a middleman. Decentralization is the removal of the middleman. You control your own shit. You deal with your own money. You don't have a bank or any institution involved. It's you and your money. It's you and the Bitcoin, right? It's not you, the bank, and then your money. You control your money, right? So in terms of money, decentralization means that you don't have to go through an intermediary like a bank or other financial institutions for you to get your money. When it comes to anything else, you have somebody representing you to your money. It's never you and your money. Bitcoin is the first time in our civilization where it's just you control your money. You can do whatever you want to do with the money and nobody can stop you, right? Bitcoin, what was it created to do, right? It's an electronic cash. It was designed to be an electronic cash that allows online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. This sounds like blah, 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 blah. But what does it mean, right? Because when you are sending something online, it's difficult to not double spend, right? It's difficult to not send. If I'm giving you cash in person, you know that the cash that I owed you, I gave it to you. So it leaves my pocket and it comes to your pocket. But if I'm sending you something online, how do you know that you're getting the thing that I have, the original of what I have and not the copy? And that's what Bitcoin did. Bitcoin allowed the transfer of value from one person to another online. Before Bitcoin, that shit was impossible, right? You had to send this and then an intermediary will hold it and verify and do this and this and that, and it takes so long. But Bitcoin allows you to directly send value in real time and it's finalized. It doesn't have to go through anybody. You don't have to wait. If you're dealing with traditional finance, traditional banks, you have to wait on the weekends. You can't send a wire. When you're sending a wire, you need so many approvals. It has to go through this person, then it has to go through a supervisor. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin allows you to deal directly with the person you're involved with. So physical cash allows me to transact directly in the real world with another person without the need of a bank, right? I like this freedom. I want the same freedom online. So I need a digital version of cash or digital cash. And Bitcoin is the epitome of what digital cash is. It's the same as sending somebody $1 that you have and you're doing it online. And once you send it, they actually get that dollar and you no longer have the dollar, right? And they do that through the blockchain, okay? Bitcoin is known as the original cryptocurrency, the first of its kind. Bitcoin is a new kind of money, a digital currency that is designed to let you store, right? Send, right? And receive money online without any banks or other financial institution. This is power. This is freedom. This is what money was always supposed to be. But prior to Bitcoin, we didn't know what true money was supposed to be. So we were using gold, we were using cowries, we were using shells, we were using all kinds of shit, right? So everything else that we used was something that wasn't designed to be money. We found commodities and we used it as money, right? We found things at the beach and we use this as money. But this is the first time that money has been created with all the properties of what money is supposed to be. The first real form of money. And it's such a good form of money that even though it wasn't designed to be a store of value, it is so good as a money that people are not willing to spend it. That is when you know that money is good, that your money is really performing the way it's supposed to be, right? Because if money is performing the way it's supposed to be, then you don't need an investment. The reason why a lot of us invest our money outside of what we earn is that our money is dying. So because our money is dying, we have to do something with our money for it to grow. So we take cash and then we go put it in real estate. We take cash, then we go put it in metals, right? But if you had a form of money that was already good, then there wouldn't be any need for you to invest that money because the money is supposed to grow by itself, by default. Am I making sense? Type 21 if you picking up what I'm putting down. Am I making sense? So Bitcoin wasn't designed to be stored. It was designed to be a peer-to-peer cash system. It wasn't designed to be hodled. But because we had never experienced a form of money that actually grew and did not die, everybody was like, oh, hell no. I ain't spending this shit, right? So for the first time, we experienced what true money is supposed to be. And if you find the true money, what you do is you hold the true money and you spend the inferior money. So the goal is to work, get the inferior cash because that's what you get paid with. And then you take the inferior cash and then you buy Bitcoin because over time, the Bitcoin grows. Over time, the inferior cash dies, right? So you are spending the inferior money to grow the superior money. Does that make sense? Who knows what this is? Who knows what this is? Type in the chat. Let me get something. Genesis block. Okay. We got some people here who know a thing or two about a thing or two. First message. Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. You already know. You really don't know. So in the Genesis block, Satoshi Nakamoto put this in there as a clue, right? This is why a lot of people think that Satoshi is British, because if you look at this is a British newspaper, The Times. If you look at the top of it, you see Saturday. Oh, actually, it was Saturday, right? Satoshi Saturday. So it was Saturday, January 3rd, 2009, right? Times Online. So there were clues here. Israel prepares to send tanks and troops into Gaza. What is happening now? Guys, think about it. Nothing has really changed. I don't know if you're paying attention to this. This was 2009. Look at what Satoshi put out there. And I don't even think people are catching on to this, right? Look at here. Israel allowed foreigners to flee the Gaza Strip as it prepared for ground offensive, right? At least 430 Palestinians were killed in a week of airstrikes. News, page 3. What is happening now? What's happening with Israel now, right? The thing is, because the dollar or paper currency is so cheap to make, this is why wars go on, right? If they had to sell Bitcoin, if they were using a superior form of money, they would think twice before they use it, right? But they can print money. They print money out of thin air, and they use the money to buy ammunitions, and they go to war and kill people, right? So the fact that in 2009, Satoshi put this message out there, and how many years later, Israel is still on the same bullshit, right? Nothing has really changed. And if Satoshi Nakamoto did not create this, a lot of people will still be in the same rat race, because unfortunately, if you live in the fiat world, that's all there is to it. Ain't nothing gonna change. Same shit is gonna go on and on and on and on. So you cannot thrive in that system. You know what I'm saying? It's impossible for you to thrive in that system. This is the Bitcoin subsidy calendar, right? So we are here. Okay? This is how it looks. This is how real money is supposed to look. This is the first time we are utilizing real money. So you see the dates here. These are the dates of the halving. This is what I just showed you, what the countdown clock is for, right? 750 days until the subsidy is slashed. So in 2009, every 10 minutes, 50 Bitcoins entered circulation, right? 50 Bitcoin were mined every 10 minutes. Then 4 years later, that subsidy got slashed. So instead of 50 Bitcoins getting added every 10 minutes, it went to 25 Bitcoin, right? Then in 2016, that 25 got slashed. So half of 25 is 12.5. So every 10 minutes, for 4 years, every 10 minutes, 12.5 Bitcoin got added. Then in 2020, in May, there was a halving. So since that time, moving forward up until 2024, 6.25 Bitcoin were added to the circulation every 10 minutes, right? Then in 2024, we had our most current halving. So every 10 minutes, approximately 3.12 Bitcoin is added to the circulation. Approximately April 2028, the subsidy is going to be slashed into 2 again. So instead of 3.125 Bitcoin getting added every 10 minutes, we'll be getting 1.56 Bitcoin for 4 years, right? Then in 2032, it will slash again to 0.78 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. In 2036, slash again. So now you are getting little, right? And then in the year 2140, the last Bitcoin will be mined. So you can see that the first first epoch, this much Bitcoin, you see the numbers is going down, right? Going down. The block height is every 210,000 blocks, because Bitcoin deals with blocks, right? So this is the reason why the halving date is an approximation. It's not a fixed date, right? Because whenever the 1,050,000 Bitcoin, block height is hit, that is when we're going to have in 2028. So it's an approximation. It's not a fixed date, right? Because sometimes it takes a little longer than 10 minutes for a block to be mined. Sometimes it's less. So it could happen first week in April. It could happen second week in April. Nobody really knows until it happens. We making sense? Type 21 if you pick it up what I'm putting in. If you learn in type 21, like I said, in 52 weeks, in 52 weeks, you're going to become a pro. You're going to become so knowledgeable, right? Shit is going to make a difference in your life. And today I'm going to do something different, right? So instead of waiting all the way to do the quiz, in the middle of the class, I will drop a quiz, right? I'll drop like one quiz and then we continue. That way you don't have to wait all the way to the end, right? That way the people who showed up early can get some sort of action going on. You know what I mean? So you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. All right? So I might quiz you on these, right? So in the history of Bitcoin, there's going to be 33 halvings, right? So there'll be 33 slashes. So as you can see here, 50 gets slashed one time to 25. Then 1250 gets slashed. Then 625 gets slashed. So we slashing all the way 33 times. And by the 33rd slash, it puts us at 0. You see that? That is down here. That is having 33, block height 6,930,000, right? You see the binary, the sats, right? You see the decimals and sats. Everything is going to 0. Like this is going down, decimals is going down, this is going down, and then the year 2140. All right. Again, 100 million sats make up one Bitcoin. All right. A lot of people may never own a whole Bitcoin, but you have the opportunity to own part of a Bitcoin, 10% of a Bitcoin, 20% of a Bitcoin, 50% of a Bitcoin. Don't let that big number intimidate you. Try to own some, right? At least one. Because if we go back, once we hit 2028, 2032, you are donezo. If you don't own a Bitcoin by that time, you're done. Because the amount of Bitcoin that is getting added is not enough, right? Because right now we have mined over 20 million Bitcoin. It's going to take over 116 years to mine the remaining Bitcoin that is left. By the time the last Bitcoin is mined, everybody here will be dead. I want you to understand, nobody here is going to live to the year 2140 or the year 2136 or the year 2132. We all going to be dead, right? So your opportunity is to make sure you have enough within this window, 26 to 28. Because if you say, oh, I'm not going to do it now, I'm going to wait, you'll be fucked, out of luck. Because by that time, Michael Saylor would have purchased all the goddamn Bitcoin he could purchase. You already got this, right? You don't have to buy one Bitcoin one whole Bitcoin. A Satoshi is the smallest unit of a Bitcoin, equivalent to 0.1234567 decimal points, right? So you can buy 1 sat, 10 sats, 100 sats, 1,000 sats, 10,000 sats, 100,000 sats, 1 million sats. That's 1% of a Bitcoin. 10 million Satoshis, 10% of a Bitcoin. 100 million Satoshis. You have arrived. You with me? Give me a second. Give me a second. Y'all with me? Type 21 if you with me. Make sure you are liking, sharing, inviting people, right? All right, let's keep it going. So this is Bitcoin's historical corrections, right? So nothing that is happening here is new. Bitcoin dips all the time, right? So if you look at the image here in January 2012, right? The highest price, Bitcoin, $7, it dipped to $4. That's a 42% drop, right? August 17 to August 19, 2012, Bitcoin dipped 56% from $16 to $7, right? 2013, from March 6 to March 7, Bitcoin dipped from $49 to $33. That was a 32% drop, okay? March 21st to March 23rd, $77 to $50. That's a 35% drop. April 10th to April 12th, 2013, Bitcoin went as high as $250 and dropped to $50. So like I said, you see the lows are getting so high. Now you wish you got a $250 Bitcoin. You will never get that, right? In November 19, 2013, Bitcoin went as high as $755 and dropped to $378, right? You will wish you got a $750 Bitcoin, but you're not gonna get it. November 2013 to 2016, it was as high as 1,163. It dipped 86%, right? Now, here's the question. Would you have survived any of these? No. So it's easy for a lot of people to say, oh, if I had bought it, I would have held, I would have made money, I would have made this, I would have made that. No, the fuck not. You wouldn't have made shit. Because during all these dips, you would have sold. You would have exited, right? March 10th to March 25th, 2017. Again, Bitcoin dropped from 1,300 to 896, a 34% drop. In May 2017, it dropped from 2,700 to, what is this, 1,650? 1850, 33% drop, right? June of 2017, it went as high as 2,900, dipped 38%. All right, 2017 to December 2018, it went from $19,000 and dropped all the way to $3,200, right? Again, I've been through all of this, right? So a 50% drop with Bitcoin, a 60% drop with Bitcoin, it's nothing new. It's nothing new. 2019 to 2020, it went from 12,000 to 5,000. 2021, it went from 64 to 31. The problem is that the highs are becoming the lows, right? Are you recognizing that? The highs are becoming the lows. Are you picking up that game? Look at the highs. So these highs are becoming the lows. So now it will be difficult for you to catch Bitcoin at 12K, at 19K, at 7K, at 4K. Those are becoming the lows. So now we may go to 126 and drop to 60 something and then shoot all the way to 400-500K. That 126 is going to become a future low. Type 21 if you're picking up what I'm putting down. You with me? Make sure you like my shit, man. Okay. So here, Bitcoin is at less than 1% of its total addressable market, right? So Bitcoin accounts for 0.2% of total global wealth. Bitcoin's total addressable market is 225 trillion. Assuming a 50% market share of store value assets, Bitcoin goes crazy, right? So what we are looking at, total global wealth, we talking real estate, is about 330 trillion, right? The bond market is $300 trillion, right? Money, cash, and all that shit, 120 trillion. Gold is a 16, I think probably 20 something trillion dollar market now, right? Equities, I can't see it. I got the comments on there. Equities, 115 trillion. Bitcoin, 2 trillion, right? But here's the thing. Bitcoin is coming for all of this together, right? Bitcoin is not coming for gold. Bitcoin is coming for equities, right? It's coming for gold. It's coming for money. It's coming for bonds. It's coming for real estate. So this is why it's absurd and it's straight retarded for people to be comparing XRP and shit coins to Bitcoin as though they in the same space, right? So that's even better, right? That's even better. That makes the math even better, right? So it's actually smaller than 2 trillion, right? So if it's smaller than 2 trillion, and let's say it's coming for just gold, how much trillions can it grow into? If you add collectibles, the art to it, how much is it coming to? What? Why you talking about raffle? Just because you're talking about raffle, you're not gonna win nothing. Just because you're talking about raffle, you're not winning nothing. You're supposed to be learning. Talking about raffle, always the same win. You ain't gonna win. We learning here, you thinking about raffle. You ain't gonna win nothing. You ain't gonna tell me where to choose from. I'm gonna choose from where I want to choose from. It's my goddamn show. You don't make the rules. The fuck? You supposed to be learning. You here talking about raffle? I should extend it all the way to the back just because of you. Yeah, you here for the wrong fucking reason. For that reason, you ain't winning shit. Fuck out of here. Talking about the raffle should be the fuck? Threw me off. Anyway, Satoshis per dollar, right? So in 2013, $1 would have purchased 7 million sats. And as you can see, a dollar is getting you less sats and less sats and less sats and less sats, right? So when you have dollars and Bitcoin is cheap, and Bitcoin is only cheap, right? Bitcoin is only cheap because a lot of people have not learned about money yet. So they don't know the value yet, right? So $1 would have purchased you a whole bunch of sats. Right now, the same $1 will get you about 1,300 sats. But in 2013, it would have gotten you like 7 million sats. In 2014, about 200,000. In 2015, about 500,000. And then you see it drops to 5K sats. Then it goes up. Then it drops. Then it goes up. Then it drops. So your goal is to take your weak currency, the dollar, the euro, the naira, whatever local currency you got, and then you transfer it or you exchange it for sats, because you are trading one asset that they can print unlimited amounts of for another asset that they cannot make more of. Does that make sense? Type 21 if you pick it up when I'm putting that. Oh, this guy. Hey, you said follow the rules, but on X you sent the rules and some followers didn't follow them till the end, and the others follows are just a second. And the laws. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, let's keep it going. I'm gonna make it quick today. So it's the same. If it's the same, right? Satoshis per dollar. Satoshis per dollar explained. The Satoshi per dollar chart is very simple. It tells you how many Satoshis a dollar will buy you on any given day in Bitcoin's history. So you see, now we are here. It will keep on going down lower and lower and lower and lower until $1 buys you $1 right? You talk about the good things to know. He wants some sats. He can buy it as free. I mean, it's not free, but there's so many places that he can go buy it from. You ain't got to get it from me. I ain't got damn Satoshi. If you want sats so bad, you go buy it. If you want sats so bad, don't wait on me. Go buy it. You can buy it on Coinbase. You can buy it on Cash App. You can buy it on River. You can buy it on PayPal, right? You can get it from an ATM. What you waiting on me for? I ain't Satoshi. I'm not Coinbase. If you want it fast, you go get it. You feel me? So this is what we are, right? Bitcoin's adoption path is everywhere. 3% adoption, right? This is similar to online banking in 1996, social media in 2005. This is similar to the internet in 1990. So we are here now, right? And we got a long way to go. So don't ever think that you are late. Don't ever think that, it's too expensive for you. You want to buy every time. Because Bitcoin in 2026 is similar to online banking in 1996. That's how early you are. Bitcoin in 2026 is similar to social media in 05. Keep stacking sats. Bitcoin in 2026 is similar to the internet in 1990. Keep stacking sats. All right? All right. So let's do this. Y'all picking up? You picking up this game? Let me see where I'm at. Shit, don't we all? Don't we all? Anyway, so we about to do the first, the first raffle. All right? You're gonna do the first raffle. So make sure you got your Lightning wallet ready. Okay? Hold on, let me make sure I got some sats for you. Oh shit, I don't have enough sats. Give me a second. I'm gonna send some sats. Stay ready now. This is the only thing some of y'all came here for. Just the sats, no education, just sats. It's just sad that you just want sats, right? Sad that you just want sats, but it's okay. Sad that you just want sats, but it's all right. I got you. No worry. This is how we're gonna play it, right? Whoever is first, and I'm watching, they getting sad without them sats. They are sats fiends. They are sats fiends. Whoever answers first And I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, my internet is not fast enough. Get a faster internet. That ain't my problem, right? So when I share it, whoever types the answer first is the winner. You with me? The first to type the answer. And I'm watching it on multiple screens. I already know the answer, right? I already know the answer. You ready? Go.